Hello Stauffer Garage Crew, today we're detailing this Dodge Ram 2500 farm truck. This thing's dirty on the inside and the outside, and when we get to the outside of this thing, we're going to do a full paint correction, ceramic coating, get all those scratches removed, and also clean up the entire interior. But with that being said, there is only 25% of you that are subscribed. 75% of you are not. So I need to make sure you guys hit that subscribe button down below, hit that notification bell, so that way you guys do not miss a single video that comes out on this channel. And with that being said, let's go ahead and get started and rip apart this interior. Now, a lot of you ask what vacuum I use, and I have it all linked down for you in the description box below, and also everything on Fox Clean that I use personally, from mint shine sprays, detailing brushes, drying towels. All of those are linked for you guys to check out, so that way you can pick up your detailing supplies and transform your car and use all the tips and tricks that I share in my videos to keep your car looking clean and new. Now, if you work on your own personal vehicle, collecting tools and having all these different gadgets to tear apart your car is something you accumulate over time. This is a Torx bit set that I use, and it comes in handy for a lot of different things. A lot of different seats use them. This one in particular was holding down the jack underneath the passenger seat. When it comes to working on your car, and if you've ever done it, there's always new tools that you can get to help speed up the process, making your life easier, but also just something that comes with time. I've been collecting tools since I was 16. I'm going on 37. That's 20 years plus that I've been buying tools for anything that I work on. So give yourself grace if you're working on your own vehicle, and just know that with time, you'll accumulate more tools, more different products. I have shelves and cabinets full of different products. So, get what you need at first and start accumulating as you go, so that way when you work on your car or detail your car, you'll have everything you need over time. Now we're going to get to the extraction phase, and when I extract, I use Flex Ice, which this is a rinse that goes in the clean water that gets injected, and then for the actual breakdown product, it's called BioBreak, and this is a good organic matter grease breakdown spray that I spray on, use the drill brush to agitate, and then the Flex Ice is part of the rinse part to neutralize the pH of the carpet and keeping that carpet from getting stiff and hard after it dries. It does a really good job of keeping it plush and making sure it cleans as well as remove the old extractor juice. In the last video, I had a lot of people ask, how do you go about talking to a dealership to detail their cars or, find these kind of vehicles or gain that sort of business? For me personally, it was just cold calling. Don't be afraid to pick up the phone, ask for the service department, talk to a salesperson, show up in person for that matter, and just say, hey, I detail cars. I want to pick up some extra business, or I'll do some for free to show you my skills and strategies and how I clean up these cars. And with the way the market is right now and used cars being at a premium price, because not a lot of new cars are coming into the showrooms, if a dealership says no to doing a free car or a free detail, they're crazy, because it saves them money, time with the cars they already have in stock. And a lot of times the dealerships will farm out and hire out and contract a detailer to do the cars for them, because running a department and then managing the employees can sometimes be too much. So if you are a detailer, if you want to get into the business, just ask a dealership. Don't be deterred if they say no, because 9 times out of 10 they probably will, but that 10th time might be a huge contract for you to detail all of their cars. So if you're trying to get into this business and you want to do it, pick up the phone or show up and just talk to people and see what they say, because you miss every shot you don't take, which is what Wayne Gretzky always said. And if you don't call and ask, you don't know the true answer. Now, with this being a farm truck, it does have an extra fuel tank in the back and a bunch of tools, and that fuel tank is full of diesel for filling up tractors on the field, or, if it's a service truck. With that being said, this thing is covered in grease, so we're going to be starting with a degreaser on the paint. We're spraying the entire thing down, let it soak in before we pressure wash any of that residue off before we apply soap with a foam cannon. Now while that foam soaks into any dirt and grime that's on the surface of the paint, we're going to go ahead and spray our wheel cleaner on the wheels to let that soak in, and on the tires. And when it comes to wheel cleaning, I have one special bucket that I use just for wheel cleaning, along with all the different tools and different things that I use to clean those up completely. For these rims in particular, because they are chrome, I'm using an acid to break down any brake dust or rust on the actual surface. And then while that sits and does its job, I'm filling up my 3 buckets to get ready for cleaning up the rest of the paint after. Now, if you guys don't know, I'm using my Fox Clean drying towels to dry the outside of the paint so we can get this thing in and start the polishing stage. But if you haven't picked up one of these, head over to Fox Clean after this video and pick them up. I've lowered the prices of these things so that way you guys can have them for spring and summer so you can take care of your vehicle. This one towel that you see me using here dried the entire outside of this truck. I mean, this is a big truck. I'm 6'2" and I can barely reach to the top of the roof. So with that being said, it kind of tells you how good of a towel this is. So make sure you guys pick one up for your car after this video.
Give me some directions to get to you. To get to you, ain't gonna waste my time. I know that we got connection. I think about you. You're on my mind, on my mind, on my mind. Yeah, I'm going out of my mind, out of my mind, out of my mind. Yeah, for you, my love. time. I know that we got connection. I think about you, for you, my love. You drive me crazy, tell me what to do, what to do. I'm on my knees, yeah, I am begging you, begging you. I'll break the rules if it will get me to, yeah.
Now with all the interior completely shampooed and cleaned up, all the seats, we're going to be moving to the exterior of the paint, and as you can see, there are quite a bit of scratches on this paint. It is swirled, it is scratched from rock chips, it's never been taken care of, and it's extremely oxidized, and for a black paint, it shows all of those. So for that, we're using the Sonax all-in-one compound on a microfiber pad, and all you need to do is do 3 dime-sized spots of it, and I prep the pad with a little bit of quick detailer just to make sure that pad, when you first start, is not completely dry. And for that, I'm using my Milwaukee cordless polishers. This is a 21mm throw dual action polisher, which pretty much makes it foolproof if you guys have a dual action polisher to not damage your paint. But they also have a ton of cutting power with the right pad and compound. Now, in between panels, I always like to use a brush. It's a specific type of brush that removes any extra residue that builds up from the polish, and then I also use an air gun to blow out any of that dust that gets in there. One thing to keep in mind when you are polishing your paint, with this truck in particular, because the amount of cutting that was necessary, I switched pads between every 1.5 to 2 panels to a fresh pad, because what happens is that pad, when it's cutting that clear coat and removing those scratches, that pad is essentially soaking up that cutting, that layer of clear coat onto that pad, and you need to change it out, because if you don't, it just gets embedded with that stuff, and you carry over scratches, and it loses its cutting power, and it's not very efficient. So changing your pad regularly when you're doing a heavy cut like this, or any cut in particular, is highly recommended. Now with the paint completely swirl free, I then prep the surface by using essentially it's an isopropyl alcohol to remove any polishing residue before I apply a ceramic coating. And when you apply it, you want to make sure you go in a back and forth pattern and then go in the opposite direction. So essentially creating a crosshatch directional pattern in like a 2 foot by 2 foot area. This ensures that you get it completely covered, and then let it sit for about 25 seconds before you buff it off with a clean, fresh microfiber towel, and then flip it over and buff it one more time. That gives it enough time to flash and cure to an extent before you buff it off. Now with the outside completely done, I did move back to the interior, and the reason why I did the process this way is 1, because I didn't want to wash the car in the complete sun, and 2, it gave me ample time to let the carpets dry before I finish up cleaning all the door panels, the dashboard, and any remaining components on the interior that I didn't clean up before I started washing the vehicle. Now, if you personally have a car at home that you're trying to detail, or a truck that has a lot of dust on it from driving with the windows down, or it's a work truck, I highly recommend picking up a steam cleaner. It does help, especially with air vents, making sure you get all of that dirt and grime that gets in there, unless you take them completely out, which is a whole different thing. Using steam helps blow that out, helps sanitize the interior of that whole air system track, and also blowing out any dust that gets in there besides an air tool. There's only so much an air tool can do, but by using a steam cleaner, one, you can kind of get that dirt wet, but then when you blow it out with a steam cleaner, it's also pressurized air to blow it out of those seams. Now, a common question that I've seen recently as well is, how do I clean glass? And I use this invisible glass reach tool. It helps with getting into those nooks and crannies, but it's particularly powerful when you're doing the dashboard, or if you have a rear window in a coupe, with reaching in there and getting in all those seams and grooves. For me in particular, I have one towel that I use for actually cleaning the surface, and then I follow up with a second towel to buff off any remaining residue and dirt. This process has been foolproof with making sure I get a streak-free finish. Now, I hope you guys enjoyed today's transformation. Like I said, make sure you head to Fox Clean to pick up all of your detail and supplies after this video. Hit the subscribe button, join the Stauffer Garage crew so that way you guys do not miss out on any videos like this that come out every single Sunday at 9 a.m. So thank you guys for watching today. See you next week.